essential to creating a horror game, because if a player is disengaged with the game, any of the elements of horror in the game won't have much of an impact on the player. The two main aspects of video games that actually create this immersion effect are the richness and the consistency of the video game environment. Slenderman definitely has a richness in that you have to commit your full concentration, or majority of your concentration, on playing the game, because Slenderman can appear at any moment and you have to be aware and looking for the signs of it. There is also a richness in that it creates a realism, from it being a first-person perspective and jittery camera movements and just the detail in the audio. There is also a fairly good consistency of environment in this game because there's minimal to no out-of-world visuals. The few ones that do are just the highlighted items to interact with, and those just minimal. In addition to the in-game elements, there are also elements of that the player can actively engage in to enhance the immersion, such as wearing headphones while playing. This intensifies any sounds you hear and blocks out any sounds external to the game. There is also, specific with Slenderman, an aspect of immersion in being aware of the lore that predates and created and inspired the game in the first place.
Alright, so Slenderman, the idea started on a forum on the website Something Awful, and it was in 2009. One user requested other users to post doctored photos with things that looked like paranormal creatures in them, and basically this thread evolved into just devoted to this one image that ended up being Slenderman. And in the end, there was almost a 200-page document that is building the lore of Slenderman, and he's been adapted into creepypasta stories by amateur writers looking for feedback on their work, all these different ways that he's become an urban legend on the internet. And basically, it's really unstable source text for the game, so it's always changing. It's really organic. There are millions of people contributing to it every day. And then it just really shows Leach's idea of the importance of a source text maybe not being the most important to a game or to any other kind of media, and the fidelity to it, especially when there's not one single source text, like in this case of Slenderman.
Mm-hmm. And the fact is that the source text has expanded to become more than just text, it's become a cultural phenomenon. So Slenderman, at the time of this game being released, was in talks for having a movie release. There were YouTube series. Slenderman as a game is just about you walking around this forest with this random dude in a suit chasing you, and that wouldn't be as scary. But as a player, we bring in our own connotations from our understanding of the Slenderman culture, and that makes the game so much more terrifying because we know that people have killed because they've been involved with the Slenderman mythos. People have committed arson because of the Slenderman mythos. So that makes this game so much more terrifying. And if we look at the idea of the magic circle and play as make-believe, as defined by Calva and Kazinga, two scholars of play, they say that, play as make-believe. And that's really not true. This game has not confined itself within its console because it's influenced so many people to do crazy things. And us bringing our own preconceptions in and out of the game have made this game so much more scary.
And it's really interesting, too, to look at that through the idea of pervasive games. I mean, really, there's not a lot of pervasive gaming involved in this one, other than, when you get close to Slenderman, the
the cultural context through the Flanagan and Nissenbaum's 4-part heuristic, those are the things that make this game scary and make this game so successful. Otherwise, it's just like this random dude just like knocked you unconscious. Okay.
And what's really interesting too about the game, especially this level, is that every time you restart, everything is randomized. Where Slenderman is hiding, where the letters have been located, and that really is an interesting representation of the unstable nature of the source text, I think.
So Slenderman, I think, is really strong as a game. The fact that it takes all this cultural context, this idea of this lore changing, and bringing it together to make something scarier. So the game is more successful in that fact and not less successful. Done.